Welcome to the Book Talk Babes podcast, where we will be discussing different book-related topics and occasionally specific books. This episode will contain explicit language and may contain spoilers, so check the episode description for a list of books that were spoiled. My name is Ashley, and today I'm joined by my two lovely friends, Elaine.
Hello.
And Liana.
Hi.
As always, welcome new listeners. Thank you, returning listeners. Today's topic is going to be books we DNF'd or did not finish, or books that we wish we DNF'd.
I think I have more books I wished I DNF'd.
Yeah, I was looking at my list and I started laughing. Now, before we get into our lists, what usually makes you like DNF a book?
I'm bored.
I have a very hard time DNFing books, even if I am not enjoying it.
Either
me too.
I'm bored, or we're reading one for this podcast, or
Yes, Liana, we all know you did not like what was it?
A Darker Shade of Magic.
Thank you. I was like Shades of Magic series, but I couldn't remember the name of the first freaking book.
If I buy a hard copy, I want to finish it, but sometimes I don't get around to it.
There's more invested.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, I have a very, very hard time DNFing books. When I start something, I really want to finish it. And I think part of it's like, I want to know how this ends. I feel like I've come a long way from that, since now I do have a few books I have DNF'd.
Yeah.
Well, like, it's rare that I don't finish a book. Actually, I don't know. Maybe not. It's just sometimes I like push through it because I think something will happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, do you ever push through because you're like, fuck this, I'm going to hate read this?
No.
Okay.
No. Not at all.
I feel like I have unintentionally hate read a few books that I probably should have DNF'd.
How do you hate read a book?
Because you're basically like, I fucking hate this book so much. Like, I'm going to finish it so I can actually like really say like how badly it was, you know?
Finish it out
I
of
feel like
spite?
if you... Yeah, basically. Like if I read a book and I'm like, this book fucking sucks, but I stop halfway through, I don't really feel like I can be like, this book was horrible because of this, this, and this. Now, if I hate read and I finish it, I can be like, okay, I have some authority to be able to speak on this because I read the whole thing.
Yeah.
I think
not that you can't say bad things about books you didn't like if you didn't finish them, but
yeah,
that's just my own personal feelings. Like that's my internal struggle.
Sometimes I think, especially with like popular book talk books, I want to push through so that one, I can be like, well, maybe, you know, I misjudged it. Maybe it'll turn out good, like everyone says. But or I get through the end and I can justifiably say that was shit.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so you have spite / hate read a book before.
Well, sometimes I just want to push through because everyone's saying it's so good, and then I get to the end and I'm like, what the fuck was that?
Like, where was the good part?
Yeah, which we will get into. So
yes. Okay, now what about you, Elaine?
I don't think I've ever read anything so I could like hate on it.
You have not lived.
Honestly, you're one of the sweetest people I've ever met and known in my life. So that doesn't surprise me at all.
Truly.
I'm also like, aside from this podcast, I don't really vocally say anywhere like how much I dislike certain books unless it's like one-on-one or in private. Like I love when people on Instagram are like, they put up a little question box and like, tell me a book that's popular that you hated.
Oh, I will tell you.
And then like there are ones that I say and then they message me, they're like, yeah, same. And I'm like, I will never, like, don't show my Instagram handle because I'll deny I ever said that. But for the most part on here, I feel like I've voiced all the ones that I've disliked. I'm about to say some of them again.
Yeah.
All right. So do we want to start with the books that we did DNF?
Sure.
Or would you rather start with the books that you wish you DNF'd? I also have a third category of, I call it NRN, not right now.
oh.
So it's books I start that I'm like, I think I would like this. I just don't like it right now. So I put it on pause and then I'll come back to it later.
We can start with the ones that we did not finish and then
Did not
should have
finish? Okay.
finished and then not right now finished.
I've only got 3 on my books I DNF'd.
Okay.
Because I created a shelf on. That's like people on Goodreads are always like, oh, I hate that I can't put DNF as a thing. Make a shelf,
Mm-hmm.
make a DNF shelf, and then you just add it to that shelf instead of adding it to your red shelf. It's not that complicated. Now I will say, yeah, StoryGraph does a better job because they do have a did not finish, but you can create that for yourself on Goodreads. So this is I guess I could do this in order. The first one I'll mention is Court by Tracy Wolff. I think it's like book.
Oh, is it part of that Crave series?
3. It's part of the Crave series. I can't remember.
I was like, why haven't I heard of that?
Yeah, it's part of the Crave series. It is book number.
I have like the second or third one.
I think it's the third one. Am I spelling it wrong? There we go. Oh, it's the 4th one.
Oh, okay.
Well, okay, no, if it's the 4th in a series, I think you've just reached like fatigue by then.
No, I can tell you
No?
the problems I had with it explicitly.
Okay,
Yeah.
yes,
No.
go.
Okay. So my problems with Court. Well, one, this book series is like, I think it's like 6 books or something.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like 6.5 books. Okay. It does not need to be. It could have been wrapped up very easily, but the author keeps like finding like a new problem to just throw in there.
Yeah.
My specific problems with Court were there were literally characters that weren't a part of a scene. So like there's a group of characters, they split up, right?
Yeah.
So one group of characters goes to this part of the world and the other group of characters going to a different part of the world. Well, all of a sudden, one of the characters from one of the groups ended up like with the other group out of nowhere. Like they were not there. And then all of a sudden it talks about them being in the situation. I'm like, no. That person is on a different side of the world. Who proofread this? Nobody? Okay. Like it happens multiple times. What is going on here? This is a traditionally published book series. This should have passed through multiple hands. How did no one catch this?
Yeah.
And I'm not the only one. Like I've looked through the comments. I don't usually read comments or reviews on Goodreads, but I looked through those because there was other people that caught it.
Reviews. I always go to like the 1-star ones just to see spark.
If I dislike a book, that's what I do. Like someone else has to feel the same way, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So that was my biggest gripe with that book. And yeah, after like the 3rd time it happened, I was like, I'm not listening to this anymore. Goodbye. And I DNF'd it.
Well, my big one is the first ACOTAR.
Okay.
Yeah.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah.
I am not surprised.
I have tried to get into it so many times. And then I even got the audiobook because it was free on Audible.
Okay.
And,
Okay.
I can't do it. I can't.
That's okay.
I can't do it.
That's okay.
Also, maybe it might be because like ACOTAR is all over the place. So
It is.
I already know what happens, but I think even before I knew the hype, like a few years ago, even before I got TikTok, I tried to read it because I look
Okay.
at Beauty and the Beast retelling.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't pull me in, and like it stayed on my TBR for so long. I find out that you were reading it, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll read it, and I tried again, and so.
Did you start from the beginning, or did you try to just pick up where you left off?
I tried from the beginning again because it had been a while.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like SJM's books, they're a commitment, They are a commitment.
I just feel like it's equivalent to saying like, I can't read Harry Potter or something like back in the day.
I guess. I mean, I guess.
Without all the fairy fucking. Well, also like, I've realized I don't like. Not that I don't like. I'm just not interested in reading books where there's some kind of tournament.
Okay.
Or if there's like an academy, I'm like,
Okay.
I'm good. It's just me though.
So how far did you make it into A Court of Thorns and Roses?
I don't remember. I want to say like
Okay.
chapter 4.
Okay. So you didn't even make it to the like trial part of that book.
No. I
thought maybe you made it to Under the Mountain and you're like, nope.
No, so I got to like chapter 4 or 5 and I was like, I'm gonna look this up. And I did, and I looked up the wiki and like what happens in the book. I'm like, oh, okay.
That's so funny. So funny.
I was like, they needed that big of a book to tell that? Okay.
There's a lot of intricacies.
I know. Anywho, Elaine.
That's okay. It's not for everyone. Elaine, your turn. If there are any. Do you even have any DNFs?
Yeah, I have a few DNFs.
Okay. I only have 3.
I know. I have a few from like throughout the years. There's one that I can't remember why I DNF'd, but I DNF'd it. I just remember not really liking it.
Yeah.
There's a popular TikTok one that's that people really love. I think it's like 600 pages. I got 100 pages.
Holy fuck. I guess I was like,
I don't know. It's weird because it's called The Ritual by Chantal Tessier.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, it starts off somewhat interesting, but then it just, I don't know. Maybe because I'm not too much. I don't know. I feel like I think I'm not too much into the dark romance too much. And it got to a point where I was like, it's too degrading for me to continue, and I'm just like, I don't like this.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah.
Like, I want to enjoy these scenes, and I'm just like cringing, kind of.
Icky.
Like, and so I'm like, okay, I think I'm done. And I think I got it on ebook too, like on Kindle Unlimited, so I didn't realize it was like 600 pages.
Oh yeah.
And so I was like, oh, I'm already 100 pages in, and I'm like, don't really, so I was like, I don't think I want to continue reading 500 more pages of this.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
My second one, and this list is very misleading, I will say, because I haven't, been tracking the books I've been reading for a crazy amount of time. So I'm sure there's other books I probably didn't finish and I just can't think of them. My other one was Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings. That's also a popular one on Book Talk and Instagram. And it was a book club pick and I didn't finish it. I don't even think I bought it. Like, I think, or did I buy it? I can't remember. I read like the sample and I was like, huh, does this get any better? I personally, I don't like the cheating trope.
True. Yeah. I don't like that either.
And then the books, the characters in this book were just rich, entitled, like young. I don't know. I can't remember if they're in their 20s or their 30s. I feel like they're in their 20s because I'm in my 30s, and I remember reading the parts I did read and be like, oh my God, y'all need to grow the fuck up. Like, I don't got time for this. Like, y'all need to sit down. Y'all need to talk. You need to stop being immature. Grow up. I can't. Couldn't deal with it. Could not deal with it. But I know a lot of people love it. Like, everyone in my book club loved it. And I was just like, I don't see the appeal at all. But that's my 2 of 3.
Another one of mine is a popular book talk one, Icebreaker.
Oh, okay.
I've heard like 50-50. People love it. People hate it. I'm like on the fence of, Icebreaker's kind of one that I might read out of spite. It reminds me so much of a movie that I want to kind of compare it,
Yeah.
I don't know. I have not read it, but yeah, I've seen the same thing, Elaine. Like, it's either you hate it or you love it. Like,
yeah.
I just saw it. Like, I think one of the reasons contemporary romance isn't my favorite is because the language is too what's the word, like colloquial, or like it's too it's too new, it's too current. Like, there's no there, to me, especially when it's written in like marketed as a rom-com and written that way, there's no artistry to how it is written.
Yeah.
Which I think is kind of why I like fantasy a lot and historical romance, is because it's like, it's like an actual narrative, and there's a story, and there's like attention to the style of the writing. And
yeah,
with contemporary romances, it takes me out of it, especially when they reference like Facebook or I went to Starbucks and got a frappuccino. And I'm like, oh,
I can see that.
Yeah. And or like I sent her a DM on Instagram. I'm like, Icebreaker, yeah, I didn't like the writing. And then like the guy, and he kept referring to how tiny. I hate when they fixate on how petite the girl is.
Oh,
you know? And he was like, she's so petite, but she has like a thick, juicy butt. And like, she has
if she's a figure skater, right?
But figure skaters aren't really known for having
not
big,
necessarily
juicy
big, juicy butt. But I mean, they got strong legs.
But he I know, like, there was like, people always write like the sexual attraction, but the way it just felt like it was objectifying her instead of the nice, I don't know, nicely, but like the romantic way, or like the hot way that like we've seen it from guys.
Yeah.
And I couldn't finish it. I was like, this book is dumb.
Yeah, I have not read it. I have no.
Do it. I was like, look, I like trashy books, but I can't do this. I can't.
Love it. Now, have you started that one, Elaine?
Icebreaker?
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
Okay.
I haven't yet. But I kind of want to. But again, like, I keep seeing like people not liking it, people liking it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, I don't know. So I think I keep pushing it back. But
I gotcha.
But yeah, I really want to compare it because it sounds like the exact same plot as this like one movie, and I absolutely love this movie.
You'll have to spite read it and let us know.
Yeah, let me know if I should read it or finish it.
Or just watch this movie.
Yeah, or just watch the movie.
Wait, is it the one with that one girl who like sticks her foot in an ice bucket and the guy's like, you just can't stay off the ice? You know what I'm talking about?
I don't remember. It's been so long since I've seen this movie. I think it's called like Straight Edge.
Yes.
It has a bunch of remakes, but the original one that
I was like, that sounds familiar.
There was a movie where there's a figure skater and she's a pair skater and her partner gets injured and then she has to have like a hockey player be her partner.
Yeah, the Cutting Edge.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, The Cutting Edge. I think it's late 90s movie.
Okay.
1992.
Okay. We were wee little babes.
Yes.
Alrighty, Lane, do you got another one?
What's your next one?
Oh, my next one. Okay. Well, this is one where it's like, so it's a manga series.
Okay.
And it's recent. I'm basically cutting off, like, I don't want to read anymore.
Oh, okay.
So I read the first one. It's called Love is an Illusion. It's a BL manga that has Omegaverse into it. So there's alpha and betas and stuff. And it's weird because, like, I kind of didn't like it. I continued reading it because I was like, okay, it has to get better, right? Something has to happen and then it'll get better. But the alpha keeps doing something stupid and makes the Omega mad, and it's like forced proximity too, because he's like, he doesn't have a place to stay, so the alpha's like, just stay with me. And he's trying to get it. He gets a job, and then like the alpha gets jealous, and he's like, okay, I'm leaving now. Like, I'm gonna go live with another friend. And like the alpha like forces him to have sex again, and it's just like, and gets him pregnant basically because this one you can have male pregnancy in it.
Okay.
Okay.
Because that's the only way he can think of to have him have a reason to stay with him. And so that's how it ends. And I'm just like, what? Like, no.
That's disappointing.
I was like, I don't like that.
Yeah.
And like, it never gets better. And so I was like, okay, I'm not gonna continue the series.
Yeah.
I've heard some pretty good things about it. And it's weird because I like went to like, I found a Reddit post of people talking about it, and they're like, yeah, it's really cringy, but I finished it. And I'm just like, what? Like, how? But
That's
yeah,
funny.
I'm good with not knowing. I assume it's a happy ever after, but
yeah,
I don't really want to see their ups and downs of it. So I'm dead with that series.
This is my last DNF one that I have recorded. Mm-hmm. Save Me by Ashley in Rostek. It's book 2 in the Witsec series, which is like 4 books.
I've never heard of this.
Yeah, it was a book club pick. Well, okay, sorry. Let me rephrase that. Find Me, book 1 was the book club pick. And then I started book 2, and then we had our book club meeting, and some of the other girls had already read all 4 of them because they're pretty short. And they were basically telling us like everything that happens and that certain things don't happen till like book 3, and then this and I was like, oh, I'm not interested in wasting any more time then like with this series. Like, it's one of those ones where I feel like all 4 books could have just been one book and then just taken out a bunch of like unnecessary filler stuff that they put into them. But you know, whatever, to each their own. It's not like horrible, but after discussing it with other people that read it, I was like, oh, like, this is really going nowhere anytime soon. So I'm just going to, never mind. I just decided not to finish it. So it wasn't the worst thing I ever read, but I just wasn't interested in wasting any more time, I guess. But yeah, that's all I got about that one.
Well, I think the big one and the most recent one for me was A Little Life.
I did not put that on my list. I have that on my not right now.
I don't think I will ever finish that book.
Oh, yeah?
I did look up what happened.
Yeah.
And
Don't tell me.
I'm not gonna put myself through that.
Every time we talk about this, I want to look it up so bad. But I'm fucking determined. It's sitting on my bedside table.
Oh my god. Well,
I haven't touched it though.
Yeah. I came across a TikTok person who was like, books I will never read, and A Little Life was one of them, because they're like, I am not going to willingly put myself through this kind of hell. Like, like, and like I know everyone says it's like beautiful and they were so impacted by it, and it's like a must read, but she's like, I read for fun. Like I'm not trying to put myself into a pit of despair when I'm reading.
I don't find any of the characters very likable. Mm-hmm. Like I'm not really rooting for any of them, and like
I feel a bit neutral.
The mystery behind like some of them and whatever, and like what's his face in particular, like
Jude,
get on with it.
Yeah.
We're dragging this out a lot, I feel like.
I don't think I'll ever pick that book up again. It's sitting on my shelf. I might donate it and let it be someone else's problem. I thought you would have
returned it by now.
No.
Like the moment you're like, I'm done, I'm not going to read it.
That's funny.
Well, so I bought it from an independent bookstore that's like 45 minutes away.
Oh, okay.
That's right. That's right.
That's right. Yeah.
So you
could donate it to a library. Unless you want to try to get monay from it.
Yeah. Find a little library somewhere.
Oh, or that, yeah. Put it in a little library.
Yeah, let someone else, some unsuspecting poor soul, get this book. Yeah. Well, I wouldn't have returned it because, like, I wanted to make sure that bookstore had the sale.
Yeah. That makes sense. I
guess I could have exchanged it, but again, it's 45 minutes away, and I'm not dealing with it.
No.
So yeah, I can't say I'll ever finish that book.
I'm gonna try. It's not a high priority, but I'm gonna try.
Okay, well, if you guys read it, we can talk about it because I looked up everything.
It is the first book in a long time that I've like actually physically like highlighted and writing in it and things like that. Other than Everlasting, I did write and highlight in Everlasting. But
speaking of DNF.
Once we wish we DNF.
Once we should have DNF.
You know what? I'm glad I didn't DNF it. It was an experience.
I know, that was
it was.
That book. Oh my god. What was that? What was that?
I'm still not sure.
I have a category of like stuff that I possibly came close to DNFing / like took me forever to read.
Okay. I can add a little life to that one.
Yeah, it's on there. It's like probably a little life. I have a book on here that apparently took me like 2 years to read, according to Goodreads, and I was like, damn.
I have a book I probably could add to that list. I like started it and I felt like it was really boring, and then I decided not to push through it at that time, and I don't know how long it was in between stopping it and starting it back up again, but I started it back up again, and if I had just held out for like one more chapter, it got so good.
Oh yeah.
I was so mad at myself for not just pushing through. I think that's also why I have like a hard time DNFing, is because I've had that happen a couple times where like it has a slow start, and then once I've pushed through to a certain point, it's freaking amazing, and then I'm like, okay, what happened? If I start a book, I'm like, what if it gets better? Doesn't happen often, but It can happen. What you got next, Elaine?
The next one is one that I don't think I went in not knowing that it was gonna be like a dark romance.
That's always a shock.
I think I only chose it because I was trying to do the alphabet challenge and I needed it at G. And I came across this one, and I think it was short. It is supposedly only had 90 pages.
Okay.
And I couldn't even get myself to finish it.
Wow.
It's called Games We Play by Donna Isili. It's like about like this like gamer. He's a famous like Twitch gamer like person. But he wears a mask, like a neon mask. So he's like, people don't know who his face is, and he's very secretive.
Okay.
And somehow this girl, the main girl, is a journalist and was somehow able to get an interview with him.
Okay.
Right? So they're in his place, they're interviewing, and somehow they end up like fucking. But it's weird because like what I didn't like was that she's like, oh, I'm not gonna take his shit, but then he's just like, kneel down, and she's like, okay. And he's like, come over here, and she's like, no, but then she does it, and I'm just like I don't like this. Like, you're saying one thing, but then you're doing something else, and I was like, I don't like this. So I was like, I'm just gonna. I didn't want to continue reading it.
That's fair.
I think I was getting mad, so I was like, I don't remember what page I in. I think I just stopped at 20%. That's what my StoryGraph said.
Of 90 pages.
Of 90 pages.
That's so funny. That is great.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I don't have any more that I can think of right now.
I don't have any more like DNFs. I have 2 books that I put on my NRN. One was a Trick or Treachery, which is part of the like Murder, She Wrote book series.
Okay.
And it was just dragging a little bit for me at the time. And it was also at a time where like I think it was when I had just started like my Bookstagram, and like I gave myself like a TBR, and I was like, ooh, I hate this. And so I ended up not reading any of the books on that list. And the other one was Tell Me Your Dreams by Sydney Sheldon, which is technically a book I've already read before, but I read it in like middle school, and I wanted to read it again as an adult. But unfortunately, I still remember the big twist. So it wasn't as enjoyable. So I was just like, oh, I like I'm remembering everything that's going to happen as I'm reading it. So I'm like, I'll pick this up later. It's not doing it for me right now, since I could still remember the big plot point. But yeah, those are ones that I want to eventually read or reread.
One of my not right nows is The Ever King.
Okay, that sounds
by L.J. Andrews.
Okay.
It's a pirate thing. But gosh, what is it about? I know what it's about. I heard it was good. There's a king of the Ever Kingdom. It's a fae thing.
Okay.
It's like, welcome to the passionate world of the Ever Kingdom, where pirate sirens and fae collide with Vikings in a dark fantasy romance between a villain and the innocent princess who holds his heart.
Okay.
It sounds interesting. Just, maybe I'm just not in a place right now to mentally read intricate plot details.
Okay.
Like I just finished a book. It was $1, and it's a STEM romance, and it's called The Hot Henry Effect.
Okay.
It's cute. It was cute. Someone in the review was like, "This is what the love hypothesis wished it was." I was like,
"Aww,
damn." So I think that's where I'm at right now in my reading mood. I don't like. I've heard the Ever King is really, really good.
Okay.
But I just don't know if I'm in the mood for all of the intrigue that's about to happen.
Yeah, that's fair. Do you have any more, Elaine?
Not right now.
Or more DNFs.
Well, I've stopped Iron Flame. Y'all guys know Iron Flame. I might continue it.
I saw that
it's
coming.
It's just probably gonna take me a while.
I forgot about that one for you.
To finish it. Same thing with Little Life. It'll probably take me a while to read that.
Yeah, Little Life, definitely.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, the ACOTAR series too, I guess. Like, I read the first 3 books back in like 2017.
Okay, yeah.
Like before they blew up. And I think it was just the 3 that were out.
That sounds
when I read them. And it's weird because to me, I wonder if it was originally supposed to be a trilogy.
Oh, probably.
Because I felt like it ended pretty well. Like, I was pretty satisfied with how it ended.
It could have been a trilogy.
Yeah. And so I think because of that, and because I think it's blown up, I don't know if I want to continue reading it. It's one of those ones where I'm like, I'm not sure I want to.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I might, finish it. So I guess it's one of those ones where it's like, not right now.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it definitely could have been just a trilogy.
Yeah. Because my mom too, she was like, I thought it was done. And she's like, I don't want to continue it. She goes, I'm fine.
No, it's totally understandable.
Mm-hmm. I think a not right now for me is The Bridge Kingdom.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, I liked.
I love that series.
I liked A Fate Inked in Blood, which I found out is actually quite polarizing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's kind of like Icebreaker. Like, either you love it or you don't.
Oh, okay.
I liked it a lot. I could see what some people were talking about, but like...
Yeah. I have seen some people that read, like, The Bridge Kingdom that didn't like it, but I try to keep... If, like, a series isn't interconnected, like, somehow throughout that author's, I try to keep them as separate as I can, like, in my head, and try not to compare them or whatever.
Yeah. But yeah, I kind of want another series to read. I've been doing some one-offs.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm looking for another series. I will say one thing that is an instant DNF for me is when the heroine is like 19 years old.
I can see that.
like 19-year-old so-and-so just like has become general of her father's army. And I'm like, she's 19.
It depends on, like, the circumstances for things like that. So, like, Throne of Glass starts off, she's young, but she's been trained to be an assassin since she was super small. So, like, I don't know. Her being as, like, fantastic as she is at the age that she's at when the book starts, I'm like, okay, I get it. Like, you've been training for a long time to be this fantastic. But yeah, as I get older, it is harder to read books with younger characters, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, and then, like, I read a lot of romance, and I'm not really interested in reading about 2 18-year-olds going at it.
No, I get that. I totally get that.
And, like, all of a sudden they have, like, the guy has all this experience of, like, a much older man. And
yeah.
I'm like, you're 18. What do you know about fucking?
No. You don't.
So, yeah. I mean, unless it's, like, intentionally written as a young adult. Like, even, like, I came across a book the other day and I was reading the summary. It's like 22-year-old. I'm like, no, we're not doing that.
No. It's not even a DNF. That's not even an open. I'm not going to open it.
They have to be on the higher side of 25.
Yeah, I guess it just depends on, like, what the book's overall
One thing
about
I noticed about the Clicanian series is they don't mention how old the women are.
No, I think at the beginning when Jade...
Yeah.
Aren't they all like 25 or something?
The majority of them are all around the same age range, like 25, like mid 20s to 30s, except for Rita.
Rita's
older.
She's like in her 50s.
Rita's older, and then Katie was taken when she, I remember making notes for that. Like she was taken when she was 15, and then it's been 15 years, so she's about 30.
Yeah,
but it doesn't. I feel like it mentioned it the one time. I don't think it mentions it each book though.
Also, like every time a Regency romance mentions a girl who's 23 and past her prime, I was just like, hold on a second. How dare you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just like, look, I know it's a historical romance, but do we really have to mention how much of a spinster she is?
Yeah,
you know,
at 23.
She's on the shelf.
Yeah. She's past due. Past her due date. Or best by date.
Yeah. Dried up goods. I'm just like, okay. Yeah. Well, I'm willing to look past this if the story is good.
Well, it's like I've got a decent list of books that I wish I DNF'd.
Let's get into it. I'm ready.
I don't know.
I'm ready.
My first two are easy. Claimed by the Leprechaun and Man of the Month Club March. I know we read those for the St. Patrick's Day smutty special thing, but goddamn, those books sucked.
I didn't know you read Claimed by the Leprechaun.
Oh wait, oh no, did I write the wrong one? I read Claimed, but I didn't. I didn't read Railed by the Leprechaun yet.
Railed by the. I was getting that confused.
Yeah.
No, sorry.
I was like, shit. I thought I made sure. No, I have not read, or I didn't finish reading Railed by the Leprechaun yet. But yeah, I did Claimed by the Leprechaun and Man of the Month Club. Man, this sucks.
So I was gonna say, it was like it wasn't too bad.
They were okay.
Don't go after Elaine's monsters.
No, yeah, no. I would.
The other two, yeah, that's true. I do wish.
I mean, it's not even that I wish I like DNF'd these books, but they were books that I remember reading, being like, ugh.
Yeah.
Okay. Like one of my other ones was a novella. It's called Z. The letter Z. And it's it's one of those like what is it? 1001 Dark Nights things. And I didn't read any other books in the series for that particular novella. I only read it because of the alphabet challenge I was doing, and I needed a Z. And it was short. But yeah, I did not like it. The things we do for internet challenges. You got me, Liana?
I wish I DNF'd The Spanish Love Deception.
Okay, yeah, I knew you didn't like that one.
Elaine, did you read it?
Mm-mm.
No, you read The Love Hypothesis.
Yeah.
Which was another one. Miss Willa's Book Club podcast did an episode on The Spanish Love Deception. And I haven't read it in a while, but listening to their take on it, I was like, yeah, it was pretty dumb. Not dumb, but like silly. Well, so like, you know, the whole premise is fake dating. That's what it has.
Yeah.
Fake dating.
She needs like a date for a wedding, right?
Yeah, she needs a date for a wedding. And what is her name? Lena. And I think that's her name.
Don't ask me. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll go with it. And then the guy's name is Aaron. I think. Aaron? Yes. And she assumes that he hates her. Like, they've had a not so great workplace relationship since they first met.
Okay.
She's like sunshiny and bubbly, and she's like the office social person. And on his first day, she brought him a welcome gift, and she found it in the trash later.
Oh.
And
okay, that's kind of sad.
She embarrassed herself at the first like staff meeting they had because there was a coffee pitcher and she spilled the coffee pitcher in front of him. And so she just felt really embarrassed and he just like gave her like a look. Excuse me. But yeah, so every staff meeting since then, he pulls the coffee pitcher away from her. Like he thinks it's funny and she's just like ha ha bleh. But yeah, so basically she needs a date to her sister's wedding in Spain. And he overhears her talking about it because she talks about her personal life in the break room.
Okay.
And he's like, I'll go with you. And she's like, no, you won't. And he's like, yeah, I will. He's like, I'll do you a favor if you do me a favor. This would be like a fake dating thing. But like over the span of 3 days, all this stuff happens. And she's like, she falls in love with him and they have really weird sex. And and apparently he's been in love with her all this time. And and there is a sweet moment where he's having dinner with her family and they ask like how they got together, and she was like just general, like because they didn't discuss it earlier, she's just general like oh, you know, we just got to know each other and ta-da. And he was like, I knew from the moment I saw her that I wanted to be with her. He's like, but I was really awkward and didn't know how to talk to her because she was just like this beauty that just like walked into my office and I was speechless. And
it's kind of sweet.
No, yeah, this is a sweet part of the book. It's part I like. And he's like and you know, he's like, ever since then I had attempted to like you know, make it up to her, but she clearly didn't want me. But he said, but I decided like even her hating me was better than nothing or something like that. And I was just like, oh, well, that's nice. But overall, I didn't really enjoy the book.
Yeah.
Like I just, you know, it has a happy ending, and I just remember thinking like, okay. Because there's like a major plot point where her ex-fiance was invited to her sister's wedding, and they broke up because he was her boss, and it blew up in her face. So that's how she ended up in New York. And then Aaron ends up becoming her boss, and she's like, oh no, it's happening all over again. And then they just report it to HR and like everything's okay. It's just like, oh, okay. I didn't like that the author put her in the same situation again. You know, I would have liked something else
different.
But yeah, it was also it was just so unrealistic. I mean, of course these books aren't real, but
no, I know what you mean though. If it's a contemporary romance, you expect some sort of reality, I guess, to be in it. So,
well, she goes to Spain over the course of a weekend, and then like on Monday she's back at work. I'm like, girl, what?
I am too old for that. The jet lag would wipe me out.
Even like the practical bits of it, it took me out of it.
Nope.
Well, the first time they have sex, they've been at her sister's wedding and they've been like dancing and sweating all night, and they don't get home till like 3 a.m. And then he's like, let me go down on you, and she hasn't showered. And I'm just, you know, I know.
But I was like, some people don't care.
I would just want to freshen up.
Yeah, no, I understand that.
And then he like does some stuff to her feet, and she's been in heels all day, and
I don't like feet, so I'm out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I should have DNF'd that. I should have DNF'd Vampires of El Norte.
That wasn't on my list, but I can see that.
Yeah. Based on our episode of that, I think we can all agree that we thought that was going to go in a different direction.
It could have been better, for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely could have been better.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Elaine? I have a couple more. Do you have any ones that you wish you DNF'd?
There's one that came to mind that I'm like going through all my books.
Yeah.
That there's one that I found that I read it because of the Alphabet Challenge.
Okay.
And I think it was like one of the yeah, it was the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, okay, I need to get this one, and it was for my queue. And I'm sad because it was a Katie Robert book.
Oh no!
I know. It was Queen Takes Rose, the number 6 in the Wicked Villain series.
Okay, I was like, I don't know which one that is.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess because there was a lot of BDSM in it. And I just didn't care for that. But again, I had to, I was like, I need to just... with that. Yeah, I didn't vibe with that. And I guess like their romance kind of didn't like make sense to me a little bit as well.
Yeah.
Because I think it was supposed to be like a rivals to lovers, but I was like, their rivalry. I don't know. It just, I'm trying to remember. I don't think I fully remember it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just know I didn't like it. I kind of like forced myself to finish it. Yeah. But I liked the other ones that I've read so far in that series.
Yeah. I have a couple of romance ones on here. So the Highland Fling.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's by Megan Quinn. I was not a fan.
Oh.
Obviously, I wish I DNF'd it. And I almost did. So like I had the audiobook for it and I had started it and I was just like, this isn't as good as I thought it was going to be. The main character kind of annoyed me a little bit and I had stopped it, but then I was like, I have nothing else to listen to at the moment, so I'll just listen to this. I listened to the audiobook, so I finished it. Another one was like 10 Rules for Faking It, which was a book club I was going to join with Book People. They have like a romance book club. I was going to join with my friend, but they meet on like, I think it's like Monday nights, and I can do late night stuff from the comfort of my home.
Yeah.
But I can't go to a book club meeting at like 7 p.m., 7:30, 8 o'clock on a Monday night and then go to work at, 3 o'clock in the morning the next day. Or I guess my schedule now is a little bit later than that, but still I have to get up at like 4:30 or 4. So, yeah, I didn't, for me personally, that one, I don't necessarily think it was like horrible, but like the female main character for that one has like really bad anxiety. And I read that at the time that I was like getting diagnosed with anxiety. And I did not feel like, I know it's different for everybody, but I like couldn't really relate that much with the character and how she handled it and like her lack of like wanting to get help, instead just kind of like, I don't know, using like Band-Aid kind of methods to just patch over, like to get through certain things. And I was like, girl, from personal experience, like just go talk to somebody. It helps, I promise. the third romance one I have. Well, I guess there's more than that, but The Romanoff Oracle by Molly Tullis, I think is her name. She's a very popular bookstagrammer, has like thousands of followers, whatever. And that was her first book that she wrote, and wasn't great. It's a like Anastasia and Rasputin retelling.
Oh.
It was a really good premise, and it's a really good idea. I don't think it was executed well. It was not executed well. But that's just my personal opinion. I was let down.
Yeah.
But yeah. Do you have any more, Liana?
Yeah, I've got two more.
I was like, I've got
one is
4 more.
One is a series.
Okay.
And it's one that I think you've read it, Ashley.
Okay.
For the Wolf by Hannah Witten.
Oh, is that the duology, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I read that.
The Red Riding Hood retelling and then the Snow White retelling. Although I thought the first one was more of a Beauty and the Beast thing. But
I think the only parts of like the Red Riding Hood that you could say is because there was a wolf and she had a red hood. That's about it.
Yeah. It was weird.
It is weird. I will agree. It is definitely weird.
It's weird.
I did that one as a buddy read.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed it though. I wouldn't say it's my favorite.
No. I read the second book.
So did you read the first book or did you DNF the first book?
I did. I read both.
Okay.
But it was like I could have done without. I guess because, with the first one, I wanted to see what would happen. And then I read the second book because the first book was kind of left on a cliffhanger.
Yes.
So I wanted to know how it ended. And then the second book was even weirder.
It was very weird. They're very weird books.
They weren't bad. The writing was fine. It's just they're weird.
Yeah, no, I can totally agree with that.
Yeah. They were just weird. And then another book I wished I DNF'd was it's kind of similar. It's called The Wolf and the Woodsman by Ava Reid.
Oh yeah, that's on my TBR.
Oh well, I don't want to ruin it.
It's okay. You can go ahead.
Okay. I didn't find any redeeming qualities in the female main character.
Okay.
And so it's I forget the premise exactly. The wolves are people that live in the forest. And I think every year or so one is chosen as a sacrifice because they have magic, certain magic. They get taken to a king in a kingdom, and under the premise that I don't remember exactly why, but something good will happen to them because they have magic. They're going to go be useful to the kingdom. But of course, they don't want to do this. It's something that's been forced upon them. And the girl that gets the main woman, I think she's also a village pariah, so they're more than willing to get rid of her.
You've been chosen. Get out of here.
The guy that it's like a enemies to lovers go on a journey and develop feelings for each other.
Okay.
The guy who comes to get her, he's a palace military guy, and she doesn't want to go. She keeps trying to escape. He continues to find her. There's an opportunity for him to die, but she decides to save his life. And then they make a pact, like, we're just going to be friends on a journey. I'm not your prisoner because I saved your life. And and he's like, you still want to go? And she's like, yeah, there's nothing for me back in that village. And it's also a weird one. The writing is very dry. Okay. And there were some times where I wasn't quite sure how things happened. Like based on the descriptions, like I didn't know what I was looking at or what was going on. Like at one point she's like in a tree, but then she loses a finger and then she's out of the tree.
The fuck?
And I don't I don't know what happens, okay? Like I'm not quite sure I know what happened in that book. And like there's not really any indication or any like, because the authors will leave like little like breadcrumbs where you can see the people start falling in love. It didn't, like, up until like when she's at the kingdom, they're still kind of being like snarky to each other, and then all of a sudden he like rescues her and they're like fucking in the forest. I'm like, all right, seems legit.
That's a natural progression of events.
It's just this book did not make sense to me.
That's fine.
I don't understand how things happened or what was happening or what I was supposed to be looking at. I just went with it. I was like, okay. And there's a happy ending, and I'm like, cool. I don't know how we got here. Yeah. So those are mine.
Do you have any more, Eileen?
Well, I thought about maybe in one of my DNFs, like I DNF'd the third book. It's from a series. It's like a young adult series. It's a book that, so this was a while ago. I remember reading the first book and I thought it was a really cool premise. I remember really loving it. And I'm like, I want to read it again. And I happened to find it. And it's called Among the Hidden.
Okay.
By Margaret Peterson Haddix.
Okay.
So I found it. I read the first book again. Found out it was a series. I read the second book. I remember not liking it very well. And then I tried to read the third book, and I had to DNF because I was like, I'm bored. Like it's not. I was like, it's not getting better. My mom says that she ended up reading all of it, and she says, yeah, I had to kind of had to push through to read all of them. And I'm just like, yeah, I don't think I want to do that. I was like, I think I'll just stick to. I kind of wish I didn't continue because I just loved the first book.
Yeah.
So much that I'm just like, and I'm fine with it ending like where it is, where it ends.
Yeah, I was that way with Outlander. Like I stopped after the first book.
Yeah, so did I.
Cause yeah, and then of course I like looked up what happens in the other books, and I'm like, yeah, I'm glad I stopped.
Yeah,
it's like one shit show after another. And I'm like, no. You know what? In the first book, it's ended. They're back together again. They're free, and that's how they're gonna stay.
That's how it's gonna stay in my head.
Yeah. I think the first book of mine was like kind of open to interpretation, like how it ended. But then like it continues, so you kind of know what happens. But then you're like, I'll just go back to like how I thought it ended.
Yeah. Well, it's like I'm looking at my list here, and I realize that the next book I'm about to mention is one I think I could classify as a hate read or a spiteful read. It's Manacled.
Okay. Manacled? Oh my god. I'm glad you read it so I don't have to.
Yeah. You're welcome. I took a sacrifice.
That and Haunting Adeline.
Yes, that one too.
Yeah, that is a book I will never read.
You're welcome. Took one for the team. Well, for that one.
For the team.
I mean, I didn't volunteer to read Manacled for y'all. I read it because I was told it was good. And it's not horrible. It's just really long. And I've complained about it before. I got to a point where I was like, I'm just going to finish it now. Like, I got to know what happens, I guess. I made it this far.
I like that. Didn't we go eat breakfast? And you just told us?
It was Thanksgiving. It was Thanksgiving. The day before Thanksgiving, Liana came into town and we went to Kirby Lane.
Oh, yeah.
And I told y'all everything that happens in Manacles. So we had breakfast food for dinner.
I'm so glad I didn't
We had
read
breakfast for dinner. And Ashley told us a story.
I had breakfast. Yeah, we had breakfast for dinner and I was telling y'all all about Manacles.
What a day.
I mean, I do wish I had some of these are like buddy reads that I did, so like I didn't DNF them because I was reading them with somebody else. So like A Dowry of Blood, I read that with my sister because we both loved The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. And
that's when I DNF'd.
Oh, The Invisible Life of Addie. I don't think V.E. Schwab is for you.
No, I don't think so.
But it was going around on like Instagram or something. My sister had sent me a video and was like, "Oh, if you liked The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, like you'll like A Dowry of Blood." And so we were like, "Okay, let's read it." I don't see the comparison at all. They're
it was like based off what I know of it, I don't think that would be
for me. They are on completely different worlds of like literature. Like The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue for me is just written so beautifully, and A Dowry of Blood was just like, I don't know, it was boring.
Yeah,
both my sister and I agreed like, okay.
Because it's like a vampire, right?
It is isn't it? Well, it's about like Dracula, but it's told from like one of his wives' point of view.
Oh.
Yeah. I've been holding on to, there's a special edition of that book came in, and I've been holding it on my shelf for a while because I keep hearing mixed reviews on it.
Yeah, I personally did not care for it. But I also, though, like I went in with the expectation of already loving it because of Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. And then like I was extra excited because it's about vampires. I love vampires. So that was gonna be like, this cool, sexy,
we love vampires.
Love story, whatever. No, like they all hated him. Like they all loved each other, and it was their love for each other and them caring about each other that they, took control over their, oppressor, which was Dracula. But I'm just like, okay. Like I didn't even rate it.
Yeah. You know what book I almost didn't finish was Invoking the Blood.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
Because he was being such a dick.
He was a dick. He was being
such a dick. And I just wanted her to like turn around and smack him.
Yeah, no, I can agree with that.
And it's like, so far, I'm like 70% in, and this man has no redeeming qualities.
I think I stayed for the Vashi.
Yeah.
Yeah, that man was worth
it. His alternate personality.
Yeah.
Do you have any others, Elaine? I have two more and an honorable mention.
Let's see. Well, I think you guys know I DNF'd Allegiant.
Yeah.
And then I just had Ashley tell me what happened.
Ashley's role in this trio. Ashley, tell me what happened in this book.
Ashley, read this book. Tell me what happens.
Yeah. I did DNF 2 books because they were just too sad, and I was like, I don't know if I can continue reading these books. One of them was The Lovely Bones.
Ooh, yeah, that one's rough.
Oh God.
I ended up just watching the movie.
That one's sad. I did read that one.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I got pretty far up The Lovely Bones before I was like, I don't think I can handle reading this anymore.
Yeah.
The same thing with A Child Called It.
Ooh, that one's rough too.
I tried reading that one so many times, and I'm just like, I can't. I don't think I can put myself. I don't think I could read this.
That one's hard. I read that one for psychology.
Really good books. Like, there's no hate to them. I just can't.
Yeah.
I don't think I could read.
You gotta like protect you.
Yeah.
But you're gonna try and read A Little Life.
I know too, and I just thought about that too, and I'm like, oh, I wonder if I could do it. We'll see. I don't know. I'm a little bit more happy in my life now than I was, so maybe.
I hadn't got to any particularly like sad part. So.
No, yeah. Yeah, there's parts that I've gotten that are like sad, but like not enough for me to be like, oh my God, no.
Yeah.
Oh, it's another young adult one, but it's inspired by Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh, that should have been right up your alley.
Yeah, it's called Slayer by Kiersten White.
Okay.
I think is what it is. Okay, but the beginning, I think I read the first 2 chapters, and I felt like it was about like this girl who was raised to become like a watcher or something like that, and we don't, in the show, you end up not liking the watchers, right? Okay. And so in this, it's about a girl who's part of the watcher like family, like sheriff. I think she has like generations or something.
Okay.
And she just like, so the first 2 chapters is her basically being like, it's all Buffy's fault, like, oh my gosh, blah 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 blah. And I'm just like, okay, if this is just going to be all about watchers and how they're great, I don't want to watch this because I don't like the watchers. So I was like, I'm gonna stop. I think I put it aside as like a maybe not right now.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like I don't think I can get myself to read it anymore.
Yeah. One book that, I guess a series that was hard to finish was Crescent City.
Oh yeah. Surprised you didn't say that one sooner.
I know. I don't. Maybe Sarah J is not for me.
I don't think she is.
V.E. Schwab.
Yeah,
they're not for me.
Yeah. I
want to give Throne of Glass a chance because I heard that's a superior series of the 3.
I would say so, but that's my thing.
And also I don't know much about it, so I think there's more incentive to find out.
Yeah.
We'll see. I'm about to start school in like a month.
Yeah.
I won't have a lot of time for reading, especially volumes with 800 pages.
Those are a commitment for sure.
Yeah.
But, you made me think of another one I have.
Oh yeah?
That is I did not finish the series. Was the Golden Compass. His Dark Materials. I read the Golden Compass, which is book 1, and then I bought books 2 and 3, and I started 2, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And I decided to look up what happens, and I'm glad I did.
Yeah.
My first V.E. Schwab book was a young adult. It's a duology. The first one is called This Savage Song. And I feel like I was confused throughout the entire book. And so I think I wish I had DNF'd that one.
I have not read that one, so.
And I cannot get myself to read the second book.
That's how, okay. All of Us Villains. I did not write down the author. That's one. I think it's a duology, and I did not read the second book because the first book didn't get like really interesting until like the last like couple of pages. In my opinion. I mean, it's like it's an interesting story. And I think I would have liked it better if maybe it wasn't like it's considered a young adult or whatever. And it's like kind of like a Hunger Games-esque thing, but with magic. So these kids have magic, and like the more like rich your family is, usually the better spells you have, because like all your magic is like your spells and magic and stuff are stored in like rings. So like people are just walking around with like a bunch of rings on that have like different spells in them, I guess. I don't know. I don't remember fully, but I just remember being like, okay, like this is kind of moving slow. I also wish kind of that I had DNF'd 11/22/63 by Stephen King.
I don't think I'll ever read a Stephen King book.
That was another buddy read, which was a very interesting buddy read, and I feel very comfortable saying this because I don't think any three of them will ever listen to this. That is the first time I have ever truly felt like, oh, I'm too old to be here. So like the three people I ended up reading it with, where it was all through Instagram or whatever. But one of the girls I followed posted about reading it, and I was like, oh, that's on my like TBR. My coworker says I should read that, and she was like, oh, we're doing a buddy read. Do you want to join? I was like, sure. That's how we make friends here. Let's do it. I regretted it. I forget how many years it was now. It's been like at least 2, probably. I don't know. I was in my 30s, and all these 3 other people were like early 20s. Oh, I'm like, oh, I'm too old to be here, but thanks for inviting me. They're all very nice people.
I'm sure,
for the most part. But yeah, I was reading it with them, and I was like, oh, because they loved it, absolutely loved it, and I'm just like, I guess it was okay. I don't necessarily wish I DNF'd it necessarily, but and the thing that also got me, because I'm the only one out of the 4 of us that like, I read romance, and I also read smut, and there is a small romance in that book. And they just kept going on and on about how great it was and how adorable and this, that, and whatever. And I'm like, okay, no. As someone that has read a lot of romance, I feel like I can speak on this topic. No. It was just all right. It was not some great romantic love story. It's like, okay. I think that's all I can think of, except for my like honorable mention, which is a book I would never have DNF'd, but I didn't like it. And that's A Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Because it was part of the Hunger Games series, I would have never, ever DNF'd it. But I just don't like Presidents now. I don't. Yeah. Why did I need his book? I don't care.
Yeah. It's one of the reasons why I will not read it.
You're not missing anything.
I don't want to read it.
I don't care why Snow became who he was. He was an asshole. Yeah. I will say, though, I am super excited that we're going to get, finally, the Haymitch book.
Oh, yes.
I'm very excited about that. I swear to God, if that one lets me down, I'm going to be very pissed.
Yes.
So.
As someone who's never read The Hunger Games, I'm excited for you.
Thank you. But that's all I've got for.
Yeah, I'm tapped out right now.
I'm sure when I go lay down here in a little bit, I'll be like, fuck, I should have mentioned blah blah blah. Or I'll look through my bookshelves and be like, oh,
I did DNF a Stephen King book.
Ooh, okay, which one?
Dolores Cowboy?
No idea.
Cowboy?
Something that man's got way too many freaking books.
Yeah, there's a lot. It's, I don't know, it's like weird. It started off weird, and then it's like a lady who's taking care of like an older lady, and this older lady just like doesn't like her and will do anything to kind of like make her work life like horrible. And it got to the point where there was a part where she like threw her like poop everywhere, and I was like, okay, I can't read this, so I'm done.
Lord.
Yeah, it's just like, I don't want to read about her cleaning up poop, or that the fact that she did this. So I was like, I'm done. I don't think I can continue. I think I chose like the wrong Stephen King book.
I don't know how he can possibly have as many books as he has.
I do want to read the one that's inspired by Stand By.
Stand
By Me.
Yeah.
That inspired Stand By Me. I did read like a small short story of his that I really liked.
I tried to read it. That's one we can add to my DNF. I tried to read it in middle school, and I could not make it through the first chapter.
I might want to read Cujo because I've heard that he doesn't even remember reading that.
That's so funny.
Because he was like so like he was on drugs, I think, at the time. And there's like one that's more fantasy that he has. That is one of my coworkers' like favorite books from him, and the way my coworker explained it made me sound like maybe I'll read that one.
Isn't it?
It's like a dragon.
Oh, I don't know which one I'm thinking of.
The Eyes of the Dragon.
Oh, okay. I don't think I've heard of that one.
Is the one that my roommate, my coworker, has told me about.
I will say, quick announcement: the next book deep dive review, whatever it is that we do here, is going to be A Fate Inked in Blood by Danielle L. Jensen. If anyone wants to read that before it comes out, or before we do the episode in August.
It's already out.
The book is already out.
Also, we are unofficially working on Not Another Vampire book.
Oh, yeah. It was like, what are you about to say? Yes. I
mean, A Fate Inked in Blood is our August pick.
Yes.
And that was my pick. But we're also reading Not Another Vampire book by Cassandra Gannon.
I'm excited for that episode whenever we get it.
So good. So good.
I know you keep asking me something. I was like, I can't say too much in the group message.
I know.
Because Elaine's still reading it.
He's still reading.
Elaine, how far have you got?
I finished chapter 2 and got to 3.
Okay.
Oh. Okay.
I'm trying to finish the library book club book.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I switched to audiobook for that so I can finish it faster. So I can read not another vampire.
I know,
book.
I chipped at it very slowly.
Yeah.
It's so good.
I started reading it while I was waiting at the bank, but the bank was faster than usual. So I was like, damn it.
I know. They're never fast when you want them to be.
I know.
Okay, so yeah, those are our 2 announcements. An episode for A Fate Inked in Blood, and then an episode for Not Another Vampire book. I keep wanting to say Not Another Vampire movie.
I know.
Because there's that Not Another Teen movie or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm always like, Not Another Vampire book.
Book.
Remember book.
When Liana said something about reading like standalones, for some reason I was like, I wanted to say One Night Stands, and I was like, no.
That's what we should call it. That's One Night Stands.
One Night Stands. What the?
Nothing else to add. Thank you, listener, for joining us. Please rate, review, and subscribe. Okay, I'm just going to start that completely over. I don't know what just happened there. Thank you, listener, for joining us. Please rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. Follow us on our socials. We're Book Talk Babes Pod on Instagram and TikTok. and Book Talk Babes on Goodreads and StoryGraph. Please email us topics, questions, and book recommendations to booktalkbabespod@gmail.com, or you can DM us on any of our socials. Everything is listed in the description. Have a lovely day and week. Until next time.
Bye.